All right. I've been off the air for a while. Look at me saying the air like I got a program or something. Been off YouTube, or as I used to say, what I call it, a WeTube, UsTube, something. Why is it a YouTube? It's iTube right now because I'm on YouTube. Check it. Alright, I've been off for a minute, not doing my random thoughts, but being that we are on the, what do you call the day after something? Like the day before, you call it the eve of something. So the day after, do you call it the sunset of something? Yeah, we're gonna say that. The sunset of the RNC convention. Or should I call it the circus of individuals who make me question sanity? Did you see the man looking like he was about to go to a reenactment of the Confederate battle? Are you serious? The Gettysburg? Okay, where do I start? Good place to start would be with Mrs. Romney. Not a person that has a problem with, supporting your man. All for it. However, if you're going to speak on a national platform with hundreds of thousands of people watching you across the globe, you might want to practice your speech a little more. Better yet, once he decided to run, knowing that you have a wife that's not really a public speaker, perhaps you would have wanted to take her to, what are those things called? It's those groups, Toastmasters, to get her accustomed to speaking. And if she loses her place on the teleprompter, will not babble and speak in circles while we watch in awe. I was on Facebook, and Facebook was awesome. I don't even know what Twitter was doing during the RNC, but Facebook was awesome in terms of the dialogue back and forth. And we weren't bashing Republicans just for the sake of bashing them because they were Republicans. We were bashing them because they were ridiculous. She sounded like a cheerleader. Oh my God, I know you! Really? You are doing a speech. I need you to tone that down a little bit. Say something of substance. If you want to tell us just about your husband, that's fine. If you really don't have a career outside of your home, that's fine. That's a great principle. Hey, I wish I could do that. However, you kind of don't want to sound like, what's that, I can't remember the cheerleader movie, but that's kind of what I was thinking of the whole time she was up there. Alright, moving on. Skywalker. Really? Wisconsin. Do I really need to say any more than that? Then, really? You are so insignificant in the political arena. I don't care that you won a recall election. You won a recall election because you guys placed the election at a time where there was going to be very little voter turnout. We are already, I'm not in Wisconsin now, but Wisconsin is already a voter apathetic area whenever it is not a presidential year. So I'm not really impressed by you saying that you won a recall effort. I mean, the pundits were all, yeah, he's this great dude because they couldn't recall him, and oh my God, Wisconsin is the state to watch because they repealed unions. Really? That's something to be proud of? That's something that our country started, oh my God, a long time ago, and it was started for a reason, not just because some people said, hey, let's have meetings, let's charge dues, let's fight for our rights, just because we don't have anything else to do. There was a reason for unions. It was because people were being mistreated in the workplaces. So unions came together to advocate for individuals. Now he has successfully repealed that. I shouldn't say successfully, but he has strategically repealed that. That's probably a great word, because there was such great actions, but they stretched it out so far that it lost the momentum. Had the recall been at the same time that the 7 senators were out of the state and people were sleeping on the lawn and in the state capital of Wisconsin, do you really think that you would be governor right now? I'm just saying. Okay, so I'm moving on from him because I don't want to give him any more shine than he deserves because you lied. Okay? Yeah, you've created jobs, but can someone live off of the jobs you've created, Mr. Tommy Thompson Jr., Scott Walker? Can you? You didn't learn from Tommy Thompson? They used him until they spit him out to be a person who would allow our state to be a guinea pig for a welfare experiment. That's what it was. Those of you who watch, or I'm sorry, listen to Slave Uprising when I used to be on WNOV 860 AM, shout out to my boy Core DJ, Tony, Neil brought it back. It's streaming. Check it out. But when I was on there for 2 years with Johnny Morris Tatum and James White and Robert Miranda and William Muhammad, and we were speaking of all of the things that our state was doing solely for the political gain of one man, not because they wanted to prop up individuals and make them more self-sufficient and not be dependent on government processes and programs, but to pull themselves up by these bootstraps that really don't even exist, because every ethnic group, especially the immigrants, y'all know what I'm talking about, were able to get all kinds of support until they were able to get on their own 2 feet. Well, we were brought over here not of our own free will. Okay, my random thoughts are getting kind of serious. Let me back off a little bit. Let me go back, okay? Because I'm real hot about this RNC stuff, man. Okay, so where do I go? Let's talk about Cruz, Ted Cruz from my state that I now live in, from Milwaukee, but I live in Texas. You so hot, dude, that you can walk across the stage? You don't stand behind the podium? Oh, wait, because you're going to be the next person that they're probably going to put up as vice president because they're trying to show their party as diverse. Really? You're so diverse that there were 1, 2, 3, well, if I can count how many ethnic races outside of the Caucasian race were at your convention, what does that say about your diversity? I was watching KERA, which is a PBS affiliate here in Dallas, and Mark Shields, love him. Mark Shields, I'm looking you up, dude. I'd love to have a conversation with you because I love your honesty. I love the fact that you were not indebted to any party. You were just holding people to task for the things that they were saying. So you ask a very pointed question of Newt Gingrich and ask him, are you claiming that your party is diverse? And Newt went to name all these ethnic individuals that were going to speak at the podium. Notice I'm counting probably on one hand. And how that showed the diversity that is now in the Republican Party. Mark Shields came back very, very calmly and said, well, I hear you speak of diversity, but why isn't it present in this convention hall? Newt had no answer for him because there is no diversity in the party. Yes, that's not to say that there aren't individuals outside of the Caucasian race that claim the Republican Party, and that's fine. Historically, we were all African Americans, were initially Republican. Theoretically, I believe in the Republican Party. However, the way they operate and when they're fundamentally founded on are so far apart now that there's no way I can follow them until they get back to the fundamentals of what they were, the precepts and the fundamentals of which they were founded upon, which was Christianity, which was love of our country, which was, you know, strong, firm foundation in assisting others to have a better way of life, not necessarily through depending on government programs, but actually being able to create individuals' outlets to create their own destiny. Well, you can't do that and you repeal all kinds of small business funding. You can't do that and you repeal all kinds of affirmative action things. And yes, we know Bill Clinton did it, and you guys want to say, oh, but you think Bill Clinton's so great. Some of that was necessary to repeal, but also some of it was detrimental. Because right after they created all of those or repealed all of the affirmative action, the actual enrollment of African Americans in Ivy League institutions and predominantly white, very, very well respected institutions plummeted. Why? Because they were only placing non-Caucasian students in there to meet the required quotas. So people were against quotas, but not every quota was bad. Come on, people. Come on. We gotta wake up. We gotta wake up. We gotta wake up. We gotta stop watching the news and sometimes read. Read for yourself. Don't read what a party is saying. Read for yourself what just individuals in the whole dialogue are saying. Research for yourself to find out what has actually occurred from 2008 to 2012. Because if you listen to Paul Ryan's speech, you'll think that the GM plant closing in the state of Wisconsin was Obama's fault. But if you look and read historically, it was during the Bush administration. That's not blaming somebody else. That's factual information. That's not stretching the truth. That's plain, bold-faced lying. Y'all don't like what I say. It's a lot of people get on my page on Facebook because I am very, very honest, and I speak my mind, and they want to blast me for telling the truth. They want to say I'm pulling the race card. All of this. You will never meet anybody more diverse, more accepting of any culture, of any lifestyle, because I don't judge the person. Hate the sin, love the sinner. I'm a Christian by my every fiber of my being, okay? So I don't judge people. These political parties mean nothing to me. It's about issues and it's about individuals, okay? But I'm not going to stand by and know that this is a war on race and say that it isn't, okay? I live in Texas. The federal government just had to fight the redistricting that was done in Texas because it unfairly discriminated against minorities. That's not Dawn pulling the race card. That's the federal government saying it was racially motivated, so you can't do this. If you're going to redraw them because of population trends, by all means do it. But if you're doing it for racial purposes so that you can discount or dilute the power of a certain race's vote, you can't do it, folks. If you're going to say in the state of Texas you can use a gun license to vote, but not a college ID, what does that sound like? A repeal of the voters' rights of what, 1962? I don't know. I might be wrong in the year. And I never said I was a historian. But what I will say is I'm a researcher. What I will say is that I kind of don't talk about things that I kind of don't know about or kind of haven't read about. I don't just watch Fox News. I don't just watch MSNBC. I don't just watch CNN. I read for myself. People, the election's coming up in November 2012. Okay? I encourage you to read for yourself. If you look at the news, if you look at the commercials, each party can sway you to believe this or that about the other. But look at the fact checkers. I love those articles because they break apart everybody. Everybody. They break apart Obama. They break apart Biden. They break apart Romney. They break apart Ryan. They break apart anyone who is not being honest. Okay, that's what you read so that you can make a decision for yourself. Okay, I've been too long-winded and I wasn't really funny, but I had to get this off my chest. And I will come back with some more random thoughts. But some of my random thoughts aren't going to be funny, y'all, because this is election year. It ain't really time for fun and games. It's time to get down to business. So vote for the person who most closely meets your needs and your finances in your household. Not because your mama votes that way, because your daddy votes that way, because everybody in your block votes that way, because you're a particular race. Don't vote on those lines. Vote for what's going to address the needs of you and your family.